Hey everybody, Wolfie here. If she was single and a bit younger. No, I'm kidding. She's cute though. Anyway, hey, I'm single. I'm allowed to drool at my neighbors, at least when they're hot. I'm on my way to a very unexpected stop. I'm going to Kohl's. KOHL''S. It's a crazy ass random department store that I never shop at because, of all things, Amazon does returns through them now. It's kind of a neat idea. Hopefully they keep up. They keep doing it. I guess instead of having, when you return something, that is, when you want to ship something back, instead of making you wrap things up in a box, print out a return label and all that shit, they just tell you to take the product itself to whatever store, and they've got a big list, and Whole Foods, of course, lol. But the closest to me is Kohl's, this random department store. Apparently all you do is waddle your ass in there, show them the thingy, well, give them the thingy, and give them a little barcode or a QR code that they give you. You can either print it or it'll show on your phone, whichever you want. They scan it, they take the item. Apparently the store will box it up, print the label, and ship it off on your behalf. So that's kind of cool. So I'll have to do that. This is I got this on a lightning deal, and normally I would just chalk it up to getting ripped off, but nah, not on Amazon. I don't like that. This the word for what happened with this, 4chan has a fun word for it. If you go look up if you go to G and check out the CSG, the blank shit general. I can't say the word or I'll get banned from YouTube. Actually, I'm probably going to get demonetized twice for what I'm talking about in this video. This topic, but especially the next one, because holy shit, this next thing is hilarious. But we'll get to that. So yeah, this was a Chinese sourced flash drive, of course, and it's a pretty common scam. It was a lightning deal, which stupid me assumed that meant that it had been vetted in some fashion. I didn't think Amazon would allow straight up scams to get sold on lightning deals, but sure enough, it was supposed to be a 512 gigabyte flash drive, and it was like a $10 off discount or $12 discount, so why not? Snagged it. And of course, it's the classic Chinese flash drive scam, where what they ship you is indeed a flash drive, and it is indeed hacked so that it reports the alleged storage capacity to your operating system. So it looks, in this case, like a 512 gigabyte flash drive. In reality, there's only 64 gigs worth of flash memory on the damn thing, and as soon as you write past that 64 gigabyte barrier, it just starts trashing everything that you wrote to it before. So it's a complete scam, total ripoff. It's junk. You can supposedly, if you have the it depends on the flash chip they use and the controller. You can sometimes flash new firmware, or at least bang up the firmware that's in it to change it to report the correct size. So you could technically convert this back to a usable device. But come on, if they're selling you scam hardware, you can't trust the hardware to be any good. What little shit they did put in there, it's probably the crappiest remainder flash chips they could get their hands on. So traditional Chinese junk, like most stuff that comes from that country. It's a bummer too, because the form factor was pretty cool. It had a regular USB connector on one end, and there's a little micro USB connector. I want to say it was female, embedded in the connector for the USB connector, which was pretty cool. On the other end was that garbage lightning shit that Macs use. And then it came, in the box, it came with a little standard USB to USB-C connector. So it was the form factor is great. A lot of connectivity. And it supports OTG, or on-the-go USB connections, so you can hook it straight to a phone. Androids, of course, support it out of the box. And iPhones apparently require some sort of voodoo, like everything like pretty much everything on that platform. You gotta sacrifice a chicken, read some tea leaves, and cast a spell to make it work. And apparently people had trouble with that too, so it got some bad ratings that way. My own damn fault for not reading the reviews before ordering this thing, because a few other people reported that it was fake, bad flash drives. But anyway, I'm sending this back, and I'm getting my money back, so yay. Hopefully Amazon pays attention and kicks the seller off the store, which will do no good, because I'm sure that seller already has a dozen new accounts and is perpetrating the same fucking scam to thousands of unsuspecting people. Anyway, that's a fun story. Now, the second thing I want to talk about, holy shit, this is some funny stuff. Now, you can probably guess where I come down on the whole thing with, God, I have to be careful about how I gloat about this, because this is such a landmine of a political topic, but I can't let this go. So fuck it. I'll just describe the news, and you can, call me whatever ist or ism you want to. I don't care. So today is the 1-year anniversary of the death of St. Floyd. I couldn't resist. I'm sorry. They buried the guy in a gold fucking casket. Come on. He's been promoted to sainthood. I don't care if you're, what side of that fence you're on. That was just silly. Anyway, it's the 1-year anniversary of his death, and they're having a memorial at the very corner where he was killed, and it's getting live coverage, international coverage. And during the they're getting ready to they're getting ready to have a 9-minute 29-second moment of silence, because that's apparently how long he got knelt on before the fentanyl finally killed him. And as they were getting ready to do it, with a bunch of TV reporters, one from Britain, he was especially funny, some random guy from, I think, a local affiliate or whatever, and a whole bunch of internet journalists, with all of them breathlessly explaining to their cameras how important this event was and how somber it is, and the British guy especially, because right in the middle of what he was saying, this happened. He was saying, "An American President Joe Biden has really been pushing for this bill for broad sweeping police reforms." Bang, 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 bang. Fucking drive-by shooting right there during the memorial, in the middle of it. There were like 10 or 11 gunshots. All went off really fast. Boom. You couldn't, the team of comedy writers could not make this shit up and make it any funnier. If you don't get the joke, I'm not sure I can explain it and make it funny. They're clamoring for police reforms, and the drive-by shooting happened, and I guess it's a real shame there weren't any qualified social workers there to calmly discuss the violence that the gunslingers were perpetrating, because I'm sure that would have de-escalated the situation far better than an active and armed police presence might have. But that's heavy-handed. We can't have that. And the best thing was, so the people that lived in that area and knew that neighborhood was a hood, as soon as the gunshots started popping off, they ducked and ran. They knew. It's like, okay, it's going down. We're getting the fuck out of here. Now, all the guilty feeling, all the self-hating white people that were there to virtue signal, they didn't know what to do. In fact, quite a few of them have never heard a gunshot before in their lives. And they had no fucking idea that they were even in danger. Especially the British reporter who was blathering about, Biden's demands for sweeping reforms. He just kept on talking. And then I guess the people behind the camera ducked for cover, and they're like pointing to him like, dude, get the fuck down. And he like turns around real slow and deliberate, like, who dares interrupt my posh British broadcast? And then he turns around, he looks and sees fucking everybody, finally, scrambling for cover. And he turns back around to the camera. Oh, I guess there's a bit of danger here. Better back off and we'll be right back with you. I guarantee he's never heard a gunshot in his life. Oh, it's just so funny. Right, I'm at the store. I'll be right back to continue this fun story here. Alright, well, I'm back. Mission accomplished, and the funniest, most amazing thing just happened. I've been laughing my ass off all day. Assuming I don't get in a car crash here in the next 10 minutes on my way back home, I'll call this a pretty good day. So, we'll get back to the George Floyd thing in a minute. Not like he's going anywhere. But, I catch my breath because I'm a big fatty. Right, so, I walk into Kohl's, and everybody, well, all the employees are wearing face masks because, conform. But they immediately, instantly pegged me for someone who is obviously out of place and never shops there. And so right from the cashier counter, I guess a supervisor or whatever, pounces on me very politely. Can I help you find anything, sir? I'm like, yeah, I'm just here to do an Amazon return, fair lady. Oh, okay, you just want to go back in the store over there. She points me to where I need to go. So, it's all the way in the back of the store, because of course it is. And, as I walk back there, as I round the corner from the center aisle down to the back of the store and start to turn right to go towards the Amazon return thingy, it has its own kiosk, which is kind of neat. I hear this woman arguing with, well, at first it sounded like a joke. Like they were just fooling around. And then I realized that she was calling him an asshole. And, he was just kind of flippantly telling her off. I couldn't figure out what the argument was about, and it doesn't matter, because this is just so amazing. He apparently, he very quickly got tired of her. And by the time I turned around, I realized what was happening. And at this point, he was just shouting, he was maybe 50 feet away from her. At that point, he was just starting to repeat himself and say, "Bye, Karen. Bye, Karen." So we had a Karen, a live Karen, right in my midst. And she's fit the stereotype. Big, fat, annoying bitch. Pushing one of those fruity little shopping carts they have. It's not a big basket one. It looks like a baby stroller, except it holds product instead of human. Anyway. And so I grinned, but I kept it to myself. I didn't laugh. I was polite. I didn't get involved. Until, right as I walked past the woman, the Karen, you could tell she's a Karen because she couldn't let it go. She can't shut her mouth. She has to keep going. And sure enough, as I walked past her, and she was walking towards me, she turned back around to yell back at him, "And you know what? My name is Karen." I lost it. Right in her fucking face. I started cracking up. The guy that was saying, "Bye, Karen," he lost it too, man. He almost fell over. And I kept walking. Walked right up to him and I said, "Man, this is the best timeline." And he's like, "I know, right?" And she kept bitching. Oh, I mean, even the employees were laughing when they heard that. It's just so good. Oh, it was amazing. Oh, one of those beautiful moments shared with a bunch of strangers. Really makes life worth living, you know? You get out there in public. This is why you have to go outside more. Even if it's just to go into the zoo. Speaking of zoos, let's go back to the George Floyd Memorial thing. So, yeah. That kind of thing. So, yeah, they're trying to have a moment of silence for the guy that got killed last year. And they couldn't do it. It was a goddamn drive-by shooting. Right as they were trying to pay their respects to their honored dead. It's like, maybe, just maybe, the cops that showed up that fateful day, maybe they were justified, not for what ended up happening, but for rolling up ready for action. Just maybe. As it turns out, that's a violent neighborhood. And it's populated by some pretty violent people. Who knew? And, yeah. So, I really hope that red-pilled somebody. Just one person sitting there doing the whole white guilt shtick took that in and thought about it for just a couple seconds is all it takes to connect the dots and think, okay, maybe this is performative and not helping anything, and maybe these people are actually full of shit. That might help change things. Related to this, there's a great reporter I think he's in Portland, Oregon. His name is Andy No, I think. It's spelled NGO. I have never learned how to pronounce that. I've tried several occasions to learn how that's pronounced. It's not no, it's not, I think it's just no. Whatever. His name is Andy NGO is his last name. He's a fantastic reporter and a unique treasure in Portland, Oregon, as he is about the only journalist with the balls to report anything negative about Antifa and their various goons that infest Portland, Oregon. And he's been spending all day posting different articles from different parts of the country, like New York, I think Chicago was one of them, Detroit, because of course it is, Minneapolis, right, obviously, because that was ground zero for the police reform movement, if you want to call it that. Also, a great fucking funny thing from London, a Black Lives Matter activist, a very outspoken white activist for the BLM organization, got the absolute shit kicked out of her and shot in London by 4 black guys. Just, maybe that virtue signaling isn't actually giving you an effective shield against genuinely violent criminals. Of course, they're not all black. It's just that the fact that they happen to be black in this case is just too funny. She's alive. She didn't get killed, so that's good. Maybe, optimistic here, but maybe she might learn a little bit from that experience. I should point out, incidentally, I don't particularly object to the official message of BLM, because, yeah, of course it sucks when people die at the hands of police. Whether it's deserved or not, you really want there to be an alternative, some better way of dealing with problems that doesn't involve lethal force. Because, it sucks. It's no good wasting life like that. And, however, I don't agree with the organization itself. It's rounded up over $1 billion over its lifetime. $1 billion with a B. Enough to run a presidential campaign. And it has donated exactly $0 to any community outreach or community improvement project. It has done absolutely zero to help any black community or fund or loan money to any black business owners or trying to start black-owned businesses. It has done absolutely nothing, donated again $0 to help rebuild any of the black communities that were affected by the riots from last year. The fiery but mostly peaceful protests that caused a whole bunch of buildings in mostly black communities to glow yellow for a little while and fall down. Those peaceful protests. BLM has done nothing to help any of those communities or rebuild any of the lost buildings or help any of those businesses. They have not paid a single dollar in scholarships or grants to any disadvantaged black students who have good grades and could go to college if not for being able to afford it. They haven't done shit to help the black community. What they have done is bought a nice, handsome $12 million house for one of the people that runs BLM. It's a fucking grift, folks. It's a classic grift. But anyway, so that's, BLM, the organization is garbage, and it's just run by a bunch of con artists and scammers, and you're getting taken for a ride. But getting back to the States, away from London, where, that BLM activists got shot up by people on our own team. You could call that friendly fire, I guess. In the States, all of these different cities that have actively and enthusiastically neutered and gutted their police forces, why, wouldn't you know, they're having a mysterious uptick in violent crime rates. Who would have guessed that could happen? Well, yeah, everybody that apparently isn't in charge. Could have told you that. There's a reason I own firearms, although I live in Florida, and that shit doesn't fly here. I gotta say, I'm actually kind of glad I live here. It's the first time I've felt that in, well, there was a 4-year period I was pretty happy to be living here. Back in 06 through the very, very beginning of 2010. I had some pretty damn good times. And, it's been okay, but this last year or so has really reminded me that I accidentally picked a really good place to live. Ooh, the kitty's here. Anyway, so all these cities that started to neuter their police forces, well, lo and behold, the crime rates have gone up. Go figure. As it turns out, when you defang the police, they can't really stop crime quite as effectively as they used to. I just wonder if enough people will figure this shit out before the country ends up burning to the ground. Because I don't really feel like learning Cantonese. Just saying. Right, well, I'm toasty. I had to turn the AC down a bit because I didn't want wind to blow at the mic so I could actually be heard on this recording, because this was fucking funny and I had to talk about it. Anyway, that's it for me. I'm going to go inside. Have yourselves a great night, everybody. I'll catch you next time. And don't go to any memorial services. It's not safe right now. Or if you have to go, pack some heat. Catch you next time, guys.